This is Will Montgomery, former Washington Redskins center.
Yo, what's good, folks? This is Trey Johnson, the headbanger, yo, and you're listening to Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted. Word.
What's going on, Rally? How you doing, man?
Oh, Ted, we're a day late, but not a dollar or win short. Let's get it.
Speaking of not a dollar win short, so I was in Maryland today, and I was, I can't bet in DC unless I'm at an actual sports book. So I jumped on FanDuel because I was driving around in Maryland. I was at a red light. I was stopped.
Okay.
And there was a bet of, I want to say it was plus 620. So if you put $5 down, you get more than $30 back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was Sam Howell to have more than 5 rushing touchdowns this year.
Ooh.
I'm thinking that is easy money, man. Sam is going to have, knock on wood, assuming he doesn't get hurt, something crazy happens. That young man,
we
exactly.
don't say,
I hear you.
We don't say the H word.
No. He, keep him away from, that eye bug. But to me,
there you go.
That just seems like easy money because the junkies were talking this morning about Jahan Dotson having over 700 yards because everything's going on with Terry with his turf toe, which we'll get into in a little bit. But that was, I want to say it was plus 130. So you put down $1, you get like $1.30 back. Wasn't really worth it. But for Howell to get more than 5 rushing touchdowns, I'm thinking, dude, they're just giving money away over there. So if you guys get a chance, don't blame me if you lose it. Only bet it if you can spend it and you can afford to do it. But don't let Mrs. Tailgate know. And I found out that she is listening because she gave me a hard time the other day about something I said on the show.
Oh, man.
But don't let your wives know. But it's actually, in my opinion, a pretty damn good bet. $5 to win 30. And let's say someone adds a couple of zeros to that, we might be able to pay for some playoff tickets. And yes,
Ooh.
I said playoff.
With a P. That's right. He didn't say layoff. He said playoff with a P. My man, I hear you, brother. Well, I may have to go ahead and let my little fingers do the walking and let my credit card do the talking and put some money down, man, because this sounds interesting to me.
Hey, if anything, it'll help our listeners buy some more Don't Sleep Energies because I know I went through a couple of them on Tuesday morning because I got to the stadium at about 12:30 that day. And I didn't leave till maybe about 12:45 or so, just kind of hanging out in the parking lot, talking to everybody, smoking a cigar. And I got home close to 1 something and had a bright and early Tuesday meeting because I wasn't about to take time off for a preseason game the next day. But a couple of those Don't Sleep Energies definitely got me right. I'm going to have to restock. But how did you handle getting back late? Because you got a longer drive than me.
Yeah, so I got in at 1A and had to get right back up, man. But thanks to our partners at Don't Sleep Energy, that kept me going. And I say that, Ted, and our listeners, and I really do mean that. You guys, if you haven't tried this product, it's a phenomenal product. And they have, the thing is they got 2 sugar-free, and for me, I need the sugar. I'm not supposed to have it, but I like the sugar. So that's what I like, and it works, and it helped the captain out. It really did. Matter of fact, I even posted it on the, I was gonna say the twit, but it's the X now. So it works, folks. Do yourself a favor, and if you're looking to change what you drink, go to Don't Sleep, use DMV Mess Hall, and get your 10% off. It works, guys.
Yeah, it's actually don'tsleepenergy.com. Mike over there, guy's phenomenal. And they have a new product on their website. I'm looking at it right now. It's a mix of regular and sugar-free. So you can try them out and see which one you want. Because before, you had to pick and choose. Do you want sugar-free? Do you want regular? But this one is actually a 12-pack for the same price as all the other 12 packs.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get it with either regular or sugar-free. So you can get your regulars. I'll get my sugar-frees. I'll let you try one of mine. You let me have one of yours. And we go from there. And we get money off with our promo code. So that helps out. And they've actually been advertising on the Sports Junkies and a couple other shows. So I was telling Mike, hey, man, our listeners listen to the Junkies in the morning too. So do us a favor and use our code, not the Junkies. Those guys are millionaires, right? We need your help a little more than the Junkies do. So make sure to use code DMV Mess Hall and grab yours because we got a long season we're headed for, and
Oh yeah.
a hell of a lot of fun at FedEx Field, man. And everyone was asking, what the hell was I doing at the stadium at 1 o'clock for an 8 o'clock kick? But those people don't know what it's like to be back, man. It was just, I'm getting there, and there was one other person in line. The guy's name is Chuck. He's a diehard Redskins / Commanders fan. And he educated me, man. I did not know that you could still get paper tickets. He has a flip phone, and not one of those new Samsung flip phones that you see commercials for. He has a legit like Razor flip phone somehow. I don't know what cell phone company he signed up with. But because of that, he can't do electronic tickets. So the team actually sends him hard paper tickets. And I don't know if it's the cool stock that we used to get. I doubt it. It's probably just kind of like a generic Ticketmaster type thing. But I'm jealous, man. I miss collecting all my tickets and then putting them in like a little album and just remembering if we won, who went to the game with me, and writing on the ticket and this and that. And you know, I'm kind of wish that I had a flip phone just so I could ask the Commanders to send me regular old tickets.
Well, I mean, he's an exception, obviously, because it's all about saving the dinero, bro. And so, because of that, I don't think that they want to do that to too many people. But you can always ask, and asking is free.
That is true, and so is them telling you no. But
that's free, right?
That is definitely free. I hear that a lot. But it was great, man, to get out there and just. I don't cook for preseason. So preseason, It's all potluck. Everyone's like, hey, you want to show up? Show up. You don't, it's fine. There are a couple of people that were upset that we didn't have food for them, but those are the ones I can tell that don't RSVP because our website says it everywhere. So I'm making a mental note like, all right, y'all show up on game one, make sure your name's on that list because we ain't having that. But it was nice to just be back at home, man, and just to walk around the stadium and just talk to everybody. I saw you taking pictures. I had people sending me pictures of you. Like, why are you sending it to me? Send it to Rally. It was cracking me up, man.
Well, hey, man, we have a huge fan base, and the fact is, they rep the Commanders just as hard as we rep the Commanders, and so I love it. And the thing is, I wanted to get out there earlier, but I had to work, and so I got out there when I could, and I was able to, like you said, snap a couple of pictures with some people who were in the red zone lot. That's where I normally start my trek, and I don't do the trek preseason. So, but regular season, I will start in the red zone, and I've got about 5 in the red zone that I've got to hit, and then making my way throughout that parking lot, seeing everybody. But it was just amazing initially. For me, like you said, to get back to FedEx Field, to get into the red zone lot. And when I pulled into the red zone lot, I was like, oh, wow, there aren't that many cars here. But then all of a sudden, that sea of burgundy and gold came in. And there were some purple people eaters, or whatever you want to call them, that came in as well, purple and black that came in as well. But for the most part, it was burgundy and gold for a preseason game. And I was floored. I really was. And then on top of that, this is probably the most exhilarating preseason game that I've ever been to. Ever.
It was a nail biter. And I put money down just once. I'm sitting in Maryland. I'm waiting for the parking lots to open. There's still 2 more hours before it opens. Actually, 3 more hours before it opens. So I'm, looking on FanDuel, having a beer, just relaxing. It's like, the Ravens aren't playing any starters. I know our first team offense is going to be out there for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So let's end this streak. So I ended up putting some money down on us to win and that streak. And then I also put money down on the Ravens not to go unbeaten. So 2 different bets down there. And I am sweating bullets the entire time, man. I'm like, you got to be. And then it's all coming down to Joey Sly making almost a 50-yard field goal when Cheeseman just rolled the ball back to Tress beforehand on another field goal. Like, man, I knew I shouldn't have bet on my team. I never bet on my team. And then all of a sudden it's going to happen like this. And we cut that one field goal kicker. Then Cheeseman is just messing up snaps. But Man, they definitely made it interesting, and they made you want to stay that entire game. And that's why it took me so long to get home, because traffic was bad,
Yeah.
because everyone, for the most part, stayed. And they said the paid attendance number was 54,000. I don't think
Wow.
that's what was there. I think just looking at the stands, you got a different vantage point than I do. You're in the end zone, obviously, and I'm on the sideline. I want to say it was maybe 60-40 burgundy and gold versus purple. And I'd say maybe 45,000 people there, because you could still see some empty spots in the upper deck, but the lower and the clubs seem pretty full to me.
Well, see, I was going to say 50,000, Ted, just realistically. And think about this. Years past preseason games, what do you think we'd have? Like 25,
Yeah.
maybe 30? I mean, so this is truly a huge change for the Commanders, and I'm loving it, brother. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. I am. And I can't wait to see what happens first game against the Cardinals. I really can't. Man,
Those first two home games. Go ahead.
and before anybody says bitches or moans about traffic, okay, because we did bring it up, go to another stadium and you'll see that traffic is just as bad. And for everybody that's talking about going to see the Patriots game, you think traffic is bad going in and coming out of FedEx? Wait till you see how they set the traffic pattern up for the Patriots. It's basically a one-way in and a one-way out, and it's 5 lanes or 6 lanes, and they take five going in and one going out, and then after the game is over, they reverse it. So imagine the crazy fanatic fans that they have there trying to get out of that stadium. So you guys better count your blessings. Just mark my words for that.
It cracks me up hearing people complain about FedEx Field, because to me, how many other stadiums you guys been to? Because before they got all these new stadiums, I'd been to about 20 of them. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say Jacksonville was probably the worst one I've ever been to.
Yeah.
But in regards to ingress and egress, and I've been going back and forth with the team, sending them suggestions. I had people that were confused because coming off of Arena Drive on the Beltway, it doesn't say Arena Drive anymore. It says Medical Center Drive. So I sent a screenshot of that, sent that to the team, seeing if they can maybe put an actual sign that says stadium with an arrow pointing that way, because you get a lot of people that are coming back or that have never been. And there's going to be a lot of fans, and we're just trying to make stuff smooth for everyone to get there. And they do a good job getting communications out.
Definitely.
But some people don't look at the emails. One of our listeners was like, Ted, what time do lots open? So I sent him a screenshot of the email that came saying lots open 4 hours ahead of time. Red zone's 5 hours ahead of time. It's like, I never got that email. Then he goes back and looks like, oh, he did get the email. He just thought it was a marketing email, so he didn't open it. I'm like, they're sending information out, just click on it, just look at it, and go on Waze. Put in the exact parking lot you're parking in on Waze, and it will take you directly to that lot.
I love that.
You had people that were parking in the red zone coming off Arena Drive. Well, it says on the parking pass what road to come off of.
Mm-hmm.
It says in directions, if you put in your GPS how to get there. People think, I know how to get to the stadium. I don't want to turn those on. You're not paying attention. And then you get mad because you're getting turned around. No. You got no one to blame but yourself. Look in that rearview mirror, yell at yourself, and follow directions next time.
They've made it so easy. I mean, use what technology is giving you. I mean, like you said, red zone lot is going to take you right there, because you can't be mad at anybody but yourself when you have to get turned around for another half hour to 45 minutes. Look at yourself, as Ted said. So the last gripe that I'm gonna say is, and I thought about this, but I changed my mind on doing it. So I'm walking into the stadium, and now they have, I'm not sure if it's at every gate, but they have these automated boxes where you hold your ticket up and it says your ticket, you scans your ticket for you, it says you're good, you can proceed, right? So the green light pops up on the box, and what does the attendant say to me, Ted? You'll never guess what the attendant said to me, but take a guess. Just take a guess.
Oh my God, you're a rally captain. Can I get a picture?
Boom, boom, boom. No. He says, I hope your team loses.
What?
Now wait a minute. Yeah, bro. And I thought about taking this picture and sending it up to Joey, but I said no. It's preseason. I'm just here to enjoy my experience. But
Was he
that
joking? Was he smiling?
oh, bro, he was serious as a heart attack.
Nah,
He was serious as a heart attack.
that
And I
ain't right.
said, if I see him again, I figured, you know what? I'll give the young man an opportunity. Maybe like you said, he's joking, maybe whatever have you. But no, he was serious as a heart attack. And I just said, all right, if I'm gonna come make sure that I come through this same gate again, and if I see him and he says that, the picture is being taken because as a paying customer and you're sporting the burgundy and gold, you even if you don't want to say it, have a good game. You keep your personal thoughts to yourself because you are in a place that is Commander's nation or Commander fan, or whatever you want to look at it, Commander's house. How about that? And the last thing you want is someone saying that.
So that's just, I would never try and get someone fired, but that person has to be trained because you're a paying customer. You're coming there to support the team. And I get it. Not everyone's going to cheer for this team, especially how we've been the past 30 years. But for that to be your first interaction, I've been talking with the team about ways to improve parking and traffic and stadium ingress, right? Because those are your first things that you experience when you're going to a game. And if that is your first thing that you experience before you even walk through the threshold of the stadium, that's not right. And I remember being at a Nats game, and one of the learners bought a young man a hat at a concession stand because he was working at the concession stand, but he didn't have a Nationals hat on. He had a different hat from a different team. And that's the only hat that he owned at that point. But they knew that, this is just not to knock that team that he was wearing or rocking or forcing him to wear Nationals gear, but you're going to that stadium. You're expecting to see people there that are, even though they're employed by contractors, wearing gear that supports that. And that's just not right at all. And man, you're better than me. Take that picture though, because it'll make sure that he gets some training and some education, because someone else ain't going to take it as well as you or as well as me and make a bigger deal about it. And there was a time at training camp this past year where a sign fell down while we're all standing in line, and there were a couple hundred of us in line. So I went up there and I fixed a sign. It's not my job, but to me, I don't want us to be in the headline for something stupid anymore. All that is past. Let's just try and have some positivity. And that kid was not being positive, man. And to also go back to your point, those standalone kiosk things right there, they're not at every gate. Like the Bud Light, the old Legends Plaza, they're not there at that one. So you still have someone standing there scanning. So this, like the side gates, those are there. And yeah, they've improved speed in the stadium a ton, because I don't know how many times someone's trying to scan and they just couldn't get it to work on those damn little scanners. So they're making improvements, man. They're putting some lipstick on a pig. And speaking of other improvements, that speaker system, you could hear everything. And it was freaking awesome hearing just the music. And there's a new stadium announcer now. I got to find his name. The guy did a damn good job. It was actually, it was a blast just being around and just seeing some of the fun stuff that they've done since we've been gone since last January.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. The only other knock that I guess that I would have is the ref mic. Their inner workings was a little jacked up, but overall, like you said, I could hear everything. The national anthem sounded crisp and clear. I mean, I felt really, really, really good about it, man.
Yeah, at the end, DJ Jealousy ended up playing like a Chuck Brown go-go mix. So I tweeted him in premonition saying, please let this be a staple, because after the Wizards win, they play Bustin' Loose by Chuck Brown.
Okay.
So to me, after the Commanders win, to get some like down home go-go playing, because everybody was dancing in the stands, regardless. I mean, Baltimore still rocks go-go. It ain't their music, it's ours down here, but it was just awesome to celebrate that and hear that. And DJ Jealousy was rocking that. And the only knock I have, and it's not on the speaker system, every time we scored, the band would play. And they had some woman, God bless her soul, singing or screaming at the top of her lungs, Hail to the
Hail to the
Commanders.
Commanders.
And
Yeah.
oh my gosh, man, I almost did not want us to score again and lose my bets because it was like nails on a chalkboard when she was belting it out. And
Yeah.
did you hear what I'm talking about? I
Oh,
mean,
I heard it. I heard it. Definitely
it was
did.
painful, man. It's like Joey missed the kick. Miss it, Joey. I don't want to hear it anymore. So
Well, hopefully they just allow the band to play. I mean, and let people put the lyrics like they used to do on for Hail to the Redskins. Put the lyrics on the board with the bouncing ball and let people sing along. I think that works a lot better. It really does.
they had the lyrics, but they moved them to the ribbon board, the 50-yard line. So the lyrics are going there because, like you, I was like last year they had the lyrics on the jumbotron.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have them this year, so I'm thinking, oh, are we just assuming everyone knows the words to the new song, or are we just not trying to get people to sing the new song and let them sing what version they want to in the stands? But no, they had them underneath the ribbon boards at the 50 going through there, and it was definitely interesting because there were some Baltimore fans. There was a Baltimore fan not too far in front of me dancing and acting like it was a regular season game, going crazy. And at the end, he just slowly walked away. And then the entire section just started singing that "Hey, hey, hey, goodbye" song. I mean, it was
Yeah.
but like you said, man, this was preseason, and it just felt so good. And the staff was, other than the guy you talked to, everybody was smiling. Everyone was just so happy to be back.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I found out that if the staff works, I think it is 9 of the 10 games for the season, that's including preseason, they get a bonus. And if they work all of the summer concerts, they get a bonus. So you got people that want to be there because they're being incentivized. And I don't know if they did this bonus system before. They could have. We just had no knowledge about it. But the people, they're incentivizing them to show up and to be there. And they did the same thing at training camp for a bunch of the staff. Like if you work X amount of days of training camp and you're out here and they're getting paid to be there, then the team was giving them tickets, multiple tickets to multiple games.
Nice.
And I had
Nice.
fans asking me to help them get tickets for the Bills game. I called them up today. Lower level, only single tickets. No pairs left in the lower bowl. That's how busy it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And
Pairs in
I'm
the upper
hoping,
deck. That's it.
and I'm hoping that those are all Commanders fans. And I'm sure there's going to be some Buffalo Bills because the Buffalo Bills fans travel well. I've got many pictures with Buffalo Bills fans, and but I'm really looking forward to seeing a sea of burgundy and gold. And if this is an indication of how this season is going to be, as far as fan wise is concerned, I'm going to start there first. As far as fan wise is concerned, opposing fans and opposing teams, you guys are going to be in for it because we are not going to play that. I mean, we are going to be loud and proud. And if the team wins, oh gosh, you won't even have even single tickets, I don't believe, because people are going to come back. They're already back. They're 98% back. We just need that. Actually, I'll say 95% back. We just need that other 5 to go ahead and make up their mind because right now they're still on the fence. It's like buying a TV, and the guy says, "Well, you want the warranty, or you're like, but you want it, so you'll figure out a way to get it." And so that's what I feel is happening with us because the fan base was awesome. As you said, the workers were great. Everyone, man, was top shelf. Quick question for you and for our listeners, and if anybody knows, do you know if they still do the wooden nickel program?
They don't. They stopped that a couple of years ago.
Okay.
There's a separate program. And for those that don't know, something that was started kind of behind the scenes where certain people were given these wooden nickels that you could then give to a team employee that was working at the stadium to recognize them for, I don't even want to say going above and beyond, but just making your experience above
a great
and beyond.
experience. Yeah.
And there's another one that's coming in that they're trying to do. A lot of stuff's being revamped. But, like Ratley was saying about that one person that kind of made his first experience walking through bad. If someone is kicking ass, ask them if you can take their picture and tweet it out to the team. shoot, send it to me. I'll make sure that management knows that that person made your experience that much better. And we all like getting kudos when we do good at our jobs.
Definitely.
Like, imagine these people out there. We're there having a good time. They're there working. They don't get a chance to watch the game and just kind of enjoy themselves. So imagine how much it would mean to them for you to acknowledge them and recognize them. So, and I like to tell everybody the same thing every preseason. It is not just preseason for the players. It is also preseason for the staff. Cut them some slack. They got a lot of new things that they're being taught to do and a lot of new systems inside there. And it's not like a restaurant where you get soft openings and you get multiple chances. They only have 2 preseason games to get this stuff right before it starts counting. So, positive feedback and reinforcement is a good thing. And you all know me if you listen to the show. I call them out, but there's certain things that should be kept in-house, Ron. But, stuff like that, just let some people know. And if you acknowledge someone that they did an amazing job, odds are they're probably going to do that again the next time because they liked how that felt. And I can't wait to be back there. Mrs. Tailgate didn't come the last game, so she can be here this weekend with me. He's kind of like our little nephew. The kid is 7 years old, going on 17. I swear he might be able to play left guard for us since we might have a rotation coming up. But we're taking him out to the game. There's going to be a bunch of people out there. But before we jump into the Bengals game, what did you actually think about the performance against the Ravens?
I like what I saw. I still feel that obviously, like anything else, we've got to work on some things. But the overall experience from what I've seen for the guys on the field, I will give them right now a 85 to 90. I'll give them that. And there's small things, and it goes back to what I was speaking of as far as training camp is concerned. 1-on-1, I have no problem with our guys. It's just when you get the doggone full line together and picking up those stunts, or maybe is Sam calling out the protections, or is the center calling out the protections? So we've got to get on the same page. And I swear to you, man, and I don't want to sound like a homer, but if we can just shore up those little deficiencies, I don't think that we'll be able to be stopped, man.
I hear you, man.
We've heard what Eric said about Sam. When he makes a mistake, he fixes it internally. And so I'm just waiting for this to all be put together, and that first string offense just to do what it needs to do to put points on the board.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I tweeted. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but I said, I don't know if it's me hanging out with you and you rubbing off on me, but your positivity is definitely kind of coming through, at least on my end, because I really feel that this offense can do what it needs to do. And I understand we have scored touchdowns against opposing teams' second string players, but we can't force Harbaugh to put his starters in. They already lost one of their starting corners for a good portion of the season during that practice against us. Terry beat him so bad he didn't want to play football anymore, so he's pretending he's hurt, which I know that's not what the case is, but I'm just saying. I mean, the last person he went up against was Terry, and he ain't stepping back on the field anytime soon. But the thing that has me so excited is Sam knows where to go with the football.
Bingo.
And Eric Bieniemy's offense has receivers open. The spacing in his offense, just going back and looking at the tape. And if you guys get a chance, the NFL Game Pass, I want to say it's $80 for the year. It's a good investment because you get a chance to go back and watch condensed games, and you can also watch the all 22 coaches film, which Rally loves his end zone view because that is the exact same view that the coaches look at on their film. And you can see plays develop. You can see where the receivers are, the tight ends are, the running backs are going on their routes. And the spacing and everything with Bieniemy's system versus Scott Turner's system is night and day. And maybe it was the receivers running the routes incorrectly last year, but I feel like there were a ton of times when Heineke would throw that ball and you had too many receivers close to each other.
Yeah.
And then in turn, that brings defenders closer to each other. And it didn't make any sense. But I mean, Howell got sacked. I want to say it was 2nd and 2, then went down to like went down to like 3rd and 14. And he scrambled and found Cole Turner across the middle for like 15 yards. I mean, he is finding guys there. And even the ones that aren't 100% open, he has got a rocket of an arm. And he can make every throw we need. And it's exciting. This is actually what Bieniemy said during his press conference when he was talking about Sam Howell.
Of Sam in these first 2 preseason games, and also the practices with Baltimore?
You know what? I thought his progression has been right where you would like it to be. I thought he's just stayed the course. He's learned a lot just being out there each and every day. I think watching Jacoby go out there and sling it around, making all the throws and just letting everything, go free, that has helped him, because Jacoby is a outspoken individual in that room, and he's helped Sam tremendously. The thing I also like is that Sam, he auto-corrects, and you love that about him. And he takes it personal, he takes work home, and he loves to talk through all the little detailed nuances of the game. So I think he's right where he needs to be. He's done a heck of a job. I thought he did a good job as well in the practices, and he did a heck of a job in the game this past, whenever it was, just a day or 2 ago.
He autocorrects, and that's the perfect way to put it. I mean, he had a horrible sack against the Browns, and he bounced back from it and didn't have it again. I mean, he had that bad sack, and the sacks he's had, those are on him. They've been free rushers where he needs to see that rush coming. He knew the rush was coming, and he just held on to the ball too long a couple of times, or tried to make a play when it wasn't there. But later on, a couple drives later, when he was backed up at the goal line, he threw the ball away. He's auto-correcting. And there's an article from Nikki Javala of the Washington Post. I tweeted it out there. If you guys get a chance, try and go find it. But it talks about the West Coast system and having it kind of be like the periodic table, and how hard it is to learn, and what Sam's doing and what Terry's doing, what Jahan's doing to try and learn this offense, and how the wide receivers can't even say the play. And I thought it was weird earlier in preseason and minicamp when they were recording the quarterbacks in the huddle. It was to get their cadence and understand their cadence, because, man, these plays, you're talking, some of them are like 20 words long with numbers mixed in, and each thing means something else to a different person in that huddle. But your quarterback has to know exactly where every person's supposed to be when he's spitting this stuff out. Jahan, you go here, protection slides here. If he says a 5-2-2 or a 3-2-2, it's a 3-step drop. On the right-hand side, your guard's supposed to double team this guy with your tackle. And on the other side, that means your running back is supposed to come out if there's no one blitzing. I mean, for Sam to be able to comprehend all of this and do this when he has just had it in offseason, that's it. Man, I am so excited about this young man as our quarterback, and I hope it works. I really do. And yeah, it's exciting.
I'm thinking that the new brain food might be chicken nuggets.
Well, I was joking. Actually, it was Mark Irons put a tweet out there, and I replied to him and said, "Thank you for giving us our team back, for giving the city its team back." And he replied back to me. So immediately my year's made. Dan Snyder, I think he probably had a couple burner Twitter accounts. I'm just guessing. I don't know if he actually did. I've interacted with him, but it was never like that. I've had more interactions with the new ownership group than I did with the old group. And I used to have a TV show at the facility. So, that's how awesome it's been. And he said he's going to stop by the tailgate one of these days. And I told him we're doing an all chicken menu in honor of Sam Howell. So hopefully he or Magic or the guys aren't vegetarian, but we are having chicken dishes galore in honor of QB1, because I know he had a piece of steak because his lineman basically made him. But the last time I was this excited about a Washington quarterback was Kirk. And that was more so excited because I felt that he could make the throws. I didn't feel like he would scramble to win us a game. And we saw Sam on 3rd and goal trying to muscle his way into the end zone during a preseason game and take a couple of unnecessary hits. But that is the heart he has, man. Kirk never would have done that. Never.
True. Yeah, true. I totally agree with you, and I can appreciate that, and the fan base as well can appreciate that. But bro, it's preseason. Simmer down, simmer down. And we're gonna start something new. I think that when Sam does something good, we're gonna howl, baby. We want to lose, so this is gonna be the closest that we're gonna be able to get. When he does something good, we're gonna howl. We're gonna do it, man. We're gonna start it. It starts on the mess hall, baby.
It would be great if they recorded Smoot and then had it just basically ready for premonition to play whenever Sam's scrambling for a first down or getting me one of my 5+ touchdowns for my bet. And then he plays that howl right at the end. There was one thing I told the team, sent them in an email, said, when we made the touchdown to get within, and we had to go for that 2-point conversion at the end of the game to tie it up, right? When we made the touchdown, they set the fireworks off. So the fans are going crazy, right? I'm like, so I stopped yelling at fans during preseason. I'll yell at your ass during regular season if you're making noise and we're on offense. But during preseason, I'm not going to lose my voice. Yeah. But they set the pyro off. I'm like, guys, you got to be killing me here, man. It's just, we're going for 2. We have to go for 2 right now. Don't set the fireworks off because you're getting everybody excited. It's like, no down and distance, know what's going on in the game. And I sent that to the team and they said, I don't know if that's something we can do. We'll let them know your recommendation. Like, how about you bring back the quiet offenses at work sign?
I need that. I was you took the words right out of my mouth. That was really needed. And here's the thing. We just had 50,000 people. That's it. 50,000 people. So imagine when the stadium is really, really buck wild. You're going to need to have those signboards flashing to let people know, quiet, offense at work, or whatever you got to do. Maybe they've updated it. I don't know. But
shut up, offense at work, maybe.
Yeah. Shut up. Damn it. No, but they need to do something because people are hyped, man.
They are.
Ted, man, I'm really trying to think the last time that I felt this way, and I can't. I just can't.
I can't either, and I don't think it all has to do with Sam and this. It's like RG3's year, we had some exciting games, but we also lost a bunch of games too. And fans forget that Shanahan was basically punting the season away, kind of going into evaluation mode, and then all of a sudden things started to click. But to me, the difference right now is we've got a good foundation where we haven't had that foundation before, and we can see improvement. And I'm excited because of Bieniemy.
That's what it is. And so, like you said, it's just not Sam us finding our quarterback. It's a plethora of things. It's new owners. It's realizing that they're trying to do more with less. It's Eric Bieniemy and realizing that if this was our old OC, that we probably would have been stymied. And Eric bringing new plays and bringing new ideas to this offense. And it's also, don't forget the main thing, it's us, our fan base coming back. So it's all of that into one, and that cloud is lifted. And I don't care what anybody says, once that cloud was lifted, the sun started really shining in on us, and all we can do is go up from there. Vegas only has us winning 6.5 games. So it's time to shut all the naysayers up, and let's do what we got to do from the team as well as from a fan base.
And I don't know if you saw, I mean, nationally, we're getting some attention. And it had to do with that game because it was a Monday night game. No one else had anything else to watch.
Yeah.
But Pat McAfee, just all these national shows who were knocking the Commanders before for going into the offseason and having a plan of Sam Howell being your quarterback. They're thinking, you're crazy. He's a 5th round pick and he's going to be your starting quarterback. Ron Rivera, what are you doing? But they are all seeing now what we have been seeing, what we know. We've been to practice. We've been there. We saw him in that Cowboys game. The young man has the intangibles to be a starter in this league. Can the other guys around him help him out? And it's not just the offensive linemen, it's also the wide receivers. And unfortunately, one of them is banged up. And this is actually what Rivera said about Terry.
Just between us.
I think for the most part, again, Terry's x-rays were negative. His MRI showed the same thing for the most part. So we'll continue to just monitor that, continue the rehab and the treatments and stuff. And, we're going to keep him off his feet for a couple more days and then start getting him ready once we get into next week.
The part that scares me about what Coach said was, for the most part. I mean, it's an X-ray, it's an MRI. So what is for the most part, right?
Don't like that.
No, I don't. And we have not quite 3 weeks left before the season opener, but he's got some time. He's staying off his foot. He wasn't out there. How did you feel still seeing the first team offense out there with just a minute some change left to go in the game or in the first half?
I wasn't upset about it. And the reason why I wasn't upset about it is because, let's face it, this is still new and we have deficiencies. Let's just be real. I spoke about it. We have deficiencies, and the only way that you're going to get those deficiencies taken care of is to play the game, whether it be against 2s and 3s, even 4s or whatever you've got to be able to play the game. And going back to something that we said in the first segment was what I liked about this was Sam knew where to go with the ball. That's the only way you're going to be able to do it with opposing defenses. You can't do it against yourself. It's been proven. You can't do it against yourself. You've got to have that different color jersey who has something to fight for. And yeah, it was 2s, 3s, whatever have you. But the fact is, when that sphincter gets tight, you got to know what you're doing. And it doesn't necessarily get tight when you're practicing and scrimmaging against yourself. But when you've got that other man coming at you full speed and he can't hit you, you don't have the yellow or the red jersey on saying I'm off limits. No, you've got to know where to go with the ball, and that's what I liked, and that's why I wasn't upset that he was out there. To be honest with you, Ted, I know this is probably going to be against popular thoughts, but I wouldn't even mind them being out there this third game, even though I know it's not going to happen. But I wouldn't mind because we really do need the reps, and that's the only reason why.
So I was concerned when they took Leno didn't play, and when they took Wiley out, I was worried because you didn't have Cornelius Lucas out there. You had another guy out there, can't remember his name now, who isn't our typical swing tackle that comes in. So I was worried something was going to happen to Sam. But they needed to work on that quick game. They needed to work on that offense, and they needed the reps. One thing I did not see them do in the scrimmage versus the Ravens was a 2-minute drill, 2-minute offense. And I don't know if it's because it was getting too heated and they're getting into too many fights and they couldn't get that work in. So they got 2 good 2-minute drives in there. Unfortunately, Terry got banged up on one of them. And the wife was texting me like they're talking about it on TV, like Terry's not looking good. His foot, and they were just kind of zoomed in on it. And you and I are obviously at the game, so we can't see this. And I got all these other people texting me too. And then I saw Terry like grimacing as he's walking down the sideline. And offense kept going. Jahan stepped up. A bunch of guys stepped up. Cole Turner had a heck of a day. It's just upsetting to see Terry go down, but unfortunately, it's part of this game. And like our friend Doc Walker likes to say, next man up. We know that even if Terry's not practicing over the next 2 weeks, he will be ready to play against the Cardinals. And an 80% Terry, I would take over 100% anybody else. Yeah. And I'm not going to get pissed off at coach or coaches for having them out there because this offense, like we said earlier, it's wordy and they have a lot of work to do and they have a lot of reps. This is actually what EB said on things for Sam and when is stuff going to slow down.
Eric, in terms of Sam again, sometimes things can be overwhelming. Second year pro, learning a new offense. When do you know, and what do you have to see from Sam to realize that things are starting to slow down for him, where he's not thinking, the gears are not moving, and he's kind of just reacting to what he sees?
every day is a new day. And so there's certain things that click for him right away. And then there's certain nuances of what we're doing that kind of put him in that situation where he's slightly hesitant. And the thing, like I say to our coaching staff all the time, and I have to remind myself of is, every time he does something, it's probably the first time that it's ever happened. And so you have to remind yourself of that. And then you just got to temper your expectations and just understand that he may not know what he don't know. So it's our job to collectively keep coaching and teaching through that process. So here, I just love the kid's demeanor. And I will say this, okay? Jacoby's been an outstanding leader in that room. He's been an outstanding, outspoken individual in that room. And then just the relationships that have been formulated in that room between himself, Jake, and Sam. It's a unique collective group, and they all feed off of one another.
Every day is a new day. And he's not a rookie. We know he's not a rookie. But let's be real. He did nothing last year under Scott Turner's system. He didn't start throwing to the ones until the Cowboys game, till week 18 at that point. So this is all new to him. He is, in essence, a rookie just because of that. And, okay, he went through a camp before. I understand it's his second year. But, man, everything is new for this guy. And I am excited about his ups and downs because of Bieniemy's quote before saying he auto-corrects. And I hear you. It would be nice if we saw them play against the Bengals this weekend. I just don't see it happening. I think that scare with Terry put enough into him. We didn't see the first team defense play. We saw Forbes out there, Jamin, Barton, but what was it? Our defensive line, they didn't get out there. Payne, Allen, Sweat. I mean, Chase is still banged up. He's actually, for those wondering, Chase is going to see a doctor tomorrow to see how everything's going with his stinger. So hopefully that's a good sign. But I'm fine. The defense has been in the same system for 4 years now with Jack Del Rio, and they've all been together. It was nice to see Emmanuel Forbes out there get some reps, Quan Martin out there and some of the guys. But this offense definitely is a work in progress, but I'm excited to see what the offense in general can do just because we haven't seen a true Bieniemy offense before. And I think it's going to be something the NFL is going to be really surprised about.
Oh, yeah. And the only thing I can liken it to is, once again, 2012 with RG3. We brought out that against the New Orleans Saints game. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was like, what the hell is this? Even I was saying it because I hadn't seen it before. And so I think that we're going to see a lot what we've seen, but a lot of different nuances sprinkled in just to keep people off balance. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we know they're not game planning, and everything is vanilla right now. And there's going to be a lot of RPO that they're going to throw in there that we haven't had a chance to even see yet. There's going to be some – we know how Kansas City loves those screens. There's going to be some disguised screens. And, we talked about being able to put more points on the board. If these guys can put 4 more points on the board this year than they did last year, then maybe we got a shot. We might have a shot to actually, make a run at this and do something, but it's going to come down to the offensive line for me personally. How about you?
I think I said 7 points, but I agree with you. It's going to come down to the offensive line. We are totally in agreement with that, and I think that 99.9% of our listeners will say the exact same thing. But I also got to go back to it, and I hear what you're saying about Del Rio's defense, and I get it. But I'm trying to understand, why were the Browns able to run it down our throat for that first?
I didn't want to bring it up, man, because
we got to talk
scared,
about it, bro.
I'm scared about it too, because the Browns did that with Deshaun. Okay, it's Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is going to run. The problem is, and JP Finley was talking about this on his show with B. Mitch, and he was talking about it on the Beltway Football Pod, and we are facing a ton of running quarterbacks. That's why I brought it up. Jalen Hurts, Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Daniel Jones. There are a ton of running quarterbacks coming to town. And I didn't want to bring up the fact that the Ravens not first team offense, but the Ravens offense was able to run outside on us because we didn't have our defensive starters in for the most part. Yeah. We didn't have the starting defensive line. And so I didn't really want to focus on that. But it is concerning. I am definitely worried. We go with that Cinco package. For those wondering, Cinco is what the Commanders call 5 defensive linemen up front and then 1 linebacker in the back. To me, you're susceptible at the outside because if your defensive ends crash down and they're not keeping contained and they're not getting any safety help to come in and fill those holes, then they're easily getting outside on us. And best believe other teams and other defensive coordinators are watching our preseason tape. And it is alarming to me at the yardage the defense is giving up. I am just, man, you're rubbing off on me. I'm trying to stay positive because I know what the defense did last year. We were a top 5 defense. And once it starts to click, but the concern I have is we don't know what's going to happen with Jamin and his court case coming up at the end of August.
Yeah.
Cody Barton is new in this system. We don't have a ton of depth. And David Mayo coming in. I am not scared about Forbes keeping contained on the outside. That young man will come in, throw his shoulder pad in there, and trip up a running back or a lineman. But they better figure something out because, Josh Allen, week 3, coming to FedEx Field, that boy likes to run and throw the ball. Justin Fields, you and I were both in Chicago, and he can run more than he can actually throw. So it's going to be interesting if Del Rio can't figure out how to stop it. It might not be as long and fun a season as I'm hoping.
And the other thing is, let's face it, what I saw was, and I know it's new, but what I saw was our linebackers taking the wrong angle. And so if by chance they get caught up in the trash and that guy bounces outside, like you said, and the ends get trapped and don't keep containment, it's gonna be rough, bro. And that's just what I see. And you know me, I'm gonna be honest with you as well as our listeners and viewers, because that's what it boils down to. There's one thing that you can be a homer, but you got to be able to be realistic and just based upon what you've seen and what we've seen. And those are things that concern me. Now, can tape take care of it? Yes, it can. I think they feel that the linebackers have enough speed to be able to get out. But if they take a wrong angle, that's all she wrote.
Well, I mean, much like the offense isn't game planning for anybody, the defense also isn't game planning. So I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt right now that Del Rio and those coaches, they're not game planning for what the opposing team's offenses like to do and how to counter it and how to stop it. He's also calling vanilla defenses where he's not showing exotic schemes and putting people in places that might be able to stop those outside runs. So if it comes week 3 and this is a problem, then I'm going to be worried. But right now, I'm just going to reserve that part because our defense was top 3 in opponents' yards per game last year. Philly was 1, San Fran was 2. We were number 3. We were able to keep people down. The problem that killed us last year was big explosive plays. And a lot of that went away once we traded that punk to Pittsburgh. I can't remember his name anymore. You know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about, and we were all happy. We don't need to mention his name, but he's gone. No. So, but you're right.
You leave my team, you're dead to me. I don't even remember what his name is anymore. But once we got rid of him, the communication got better. So it's, to me, the communication's going to be better once it starts counting. But another thing where communication is key is the offensive line. You want the same guys in there typically to line up beside each other so you know what the guy beside you is going to do when these guys are doing stunts like you've talked about. Well, this is actually Ron Rivera mentioning something very interesting that I don't know if I agree with. I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
But the state of the left guard competition, where do you think that's at?
All right, nobody asked, but I think it's very good. I really do. I like what we got from Sadiq, and I like what Chris Paul has shown us. A young man that's showing us that he's very capable at guard. Ricky Stromberg has had a really good camp, so it's been a lot of fun to watch him and his growth and development as well. But right now I think Sadiq and Chris have done a really, really good job for us, and I think the big thing obviously is, we're going to decide, who's going to be the guy pretty soon. But if they continue to practice the way they are, we probably have to figure a way out how we can play them both. They both are stout, powerful young men, and they're both smart young football players.
By playing both, you mean a rotation?
We'll see.
And do you anticipate Sadiq and or Chris playing on Saturday?
That will decide probably another day or two.
So for those that couldn't hear, Sam asked, do you anticipate a rotation, a starting guard rotation, not putting one of them at right and the other one at left, because Cosme has the right guard spot locked down, but potentially rotating Sadiq Charles and Chris Paul at the left guard spot. And I hope Ron would just had a brain fart or something there, because in my opinion, you cannot rotate your left guard. Your left tackle and your center needs to have continuity with the guy lining up beside them. And to me, that is probably one of the worst ideas you could have. And I'd love to talk to, Will Montgomery. We've had him on in the past and some other offensive linemen about a guard rotation. But you should know by now who your starting left guard is. And I understand Sadiq Charles has been hurt for a decent amount of camp. But please, God, Ron, don't rotate the guards. We don't need that mess. Sam doesn't need that mess in front of him. And we need to make sure that these guys can pick up lineman stunts and blitzes and everything else coming at them. Not, oh my gosh, am I in this series or am I in next series? I don't know. What do you think about it?
I don't like the statement, but I think what it boils down to is he's trying to save someone's feelings. And I understand you get paid a lot of money, screw your feelings, but you're human too. I believe they know who they want. It's just a matter of realistically keeping it tight to the vest right now, and sparing somebody's feelings. In a nutshell, that's what I believe.
I hear you. It's football. He's getting paid the big bucks to, make these judgments. Just say, you know what? We know who it's going to be. And you guys will find out when that first official depth chart comes out. And then just go from there.
That sounds too easy and too good. So in true Ron Rivera fashion, I've got to give you my stutter and type of thing. So it won't happen, bro.
I mean, he didn't quite put his foot in his mouth, but maybe he put like his sandal in his mouth or something, because but I wish I could go over there and give Ron some media lessons on, these are the things that maybe you don't say. Or if you don't exactly know, just say this. But we're coming up on the Bengals, and most of the starters, if not all the starters, aren't going to see that field. So what Commanders player do we not want fans to sleep on? This is sponsored by our friends at Don't Sleep Energy. Make sure to use promo code DMV Mess Hall over there. But for you, what Commanders player or position group should fans watch for this game?
Well, if he plays, I'm gonna go back to Bieniemy Brown. I think we cannot don't sleep on him, because I think that it sounds like it's not necessarily in the bag, but it sounds like that there's potential. So I don't want to sleep on him.
Yeah, I hear you. I think Bieniemy he's a lock. And I got pissed off at Brissett, man. Brisket, I wanted to stick a fork in his ass this past week because he threw one ball that almost got someone's head taken off and another that was behind Bieniemy. And Bieniemy was getting treated for a potential concussion or looked at, evaluated for at that point. But I'm thinking he's a lock on this team just because of his chemistry with Sam, and because Terry's banged up right now. And they put Dax Milne, I want to say, on short term, or they're thinking about putting him on IR. And I really think that was a lie just to get Kazmir Allen on the roster, make sure he's good. But for me, it's Andre Jones Jr., that young man, 7th round pick out of Louisiana Lafayette. He's number 48. So if you guys are looking, be on the lookout for him. He has been wreaking havoc during practice and during games at defensive end. And I'm rooting for this young man, a 7th round pick, to be able to do this and come in and put a pass rush in there. It's fun to watch, and he's going to get a ton of playing time this Saturday.
Well, you'll definitely see him, and that's what's needed to possibly say, okay, well, if hypothetically Chase can't go, do we have a valuable asset that can take his place? Well, I hear the music playing in the background, which lets me know that we've come to another ending of a great show of the DMV Mess Hall. We appreciate you guys listening and taking the time out to watch us. And hey, you could be anywhere, but you decided to be with us. And in closing, you rep it hard, but you don't rep it at all. Tailgate Ted, Rally Captain. That's going to do it for another week. And we'll be Sam Howell.